Welcome everyone to the Reading Regionals, which I believe is the second biggest regional tournament happening.
Yeah, one's smaller than London.
You know, I'm happy about that because I'm from London myself, but you are from the local Meta?
I'm Reading. I'm obviously devastated.
And here we have Buckingham Ben, who also, if this is the right Ben, I think it is also in the London group.
Nice.
I played against this NEH just this Tuesday, and it was miserable.
Very nice. What kind of thing is it? Is it kill? Is it just fast advance?
What was it? It has bladder wart in it, and I don't think it's trying to kill you, but it's just trying to really like grind you down.
Is it like the Nats R+ ones?
I think so. It's just there's just a lot of misery, and so it plays pad campaign because it costs 4 to trash.
Yeah.
So you're less interested in showing the cards there.
Very nice.
It's got bladder wart in there, so that's going to just grind you away, and you have to go deal with it. But also it's too expensive, and if you do, you turn on Oppo, and there we see the Oppo already. It's just a miserable time. But we're going to see what happens here.
Yeah, we've got looking fairly standard, and we've just got your NEH opening.
Yep, just install. Hopefully trying to do that every single turn.
Cool.
There's a spin doctor to give us some extra cards so that we can do another turn just install. There is also federal fundraising, which is going to let us stack the deck, keep it safe.
Yeah.
So we can play, I believe there is ice in here. There's Meston Chestfoes and things like that, because Meston Chestfoe gets to a point where
we're not saving raindrops for it though, we're just running now because it's not likely to get too much value very quickly.
It's very good, yeah. Hoshiko going to be very happy accessing a card every turn.
Yes, although not good for the credits.
Yes, that's true. What kind of stuff were you thinking to see in Hoshiko that might help here with all these assets and just the amount of credits required?
So hopefully they've packed their bones. If they haven't, then probably having a rough time.
Yeah.
If they've got a turtle, then that should hopefully have enough counters anytime they're running anything with ice.
Is it usual for Hoshiko to play Hannah? Because Hannah is, when you see Hannah come down as an asset spam player, you're like, well, there's my whole edge gone.
Yeah, I always like to include Hannah. Whether or not you do, it tends to be based on the person, so it could go either way.
But yes, definitely lacking Miss Bones would be a real struggle here.
Yes. Seeing them maybe makes me think.
It's kind of wild though, because Miss Bones, it just says have 10 credits.
Think for 10.
Yeah, I guess that is. If it was printed on a card, people would have it. So.
Indeed.
So we see NH here, they've rezzed their pad campaign just to get some drip income coming.
Yep.
The other options they had there, of course, what am I thinking of? A cheap income asset. Do you choose pad campaign or you choose something else?
What's the one that you first time the runner makes a run, you gain credit?
Oh, yes. No, I was thinking more...
Oh, we're seeing an Oppo.
There comes the Oppo. Just a small one this time, of course.
Yep.
With no threat at the moment.
You know.
We've iced up R&D. Yeah, I'm wondering why there, because...
I've seen a degree mean in hand, so it's just saying if I don't ice it, you're less likely to run it, which is a bold strategy. Possibly.
I'm wondering, because also, you have federal fundraising in there, which is a pretty instant trash on site target.
Yeah. Maybe that's it, you just don't believe that your Federals is going to stay.
That's true.
One's gone already, which did turn on the Oppo, but still probably worth it.
And so Hoshiko here taking...
Naming credit, play something, fire bans.
Very nice.
Seems good.
Assuming here we're going to be using the gain 4 for trashing here because...
Yeah.
Especially with the Corp on just 2 credits.
If this was me, I would be gaining 4 and I'd be removing a tag.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Seems like as good a value as you can get from a single card against NEH.
Definitely. So here taking out the pad campaign, especially as well, you don't want to run an unknown. It might be a spin doctor, you might...
Yeah.
I mean, that would be the worst case scenario for sure.
It's always dreadful when you run a spin doctor with a run event and you just lose all the value.
Yeah, and seeing a 4 to trash asset on the table just feels like Biobans was just made just for that.
Yeah. The pad campaign hasn't made its money back yet, so...
Yeah, that's the risk with pad campaign. I still can't remember how have I forgotten all Netrunner cards. There is another income card that you could play, and it's always a choice of do you play pad campaign or do you play this other card. And I feel like it's like
buying in a Maryland.
Yes, Maryland campaign. I think that's the one.
Yeah.
I think this deck also has those in.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's very nice because not only is it good income with no cost to you up front, like pad campaign where the first turn you're poorer, but also it's technically an extra like 4 cards in your deck that aren't agendas, because they shuffle back in and then they come back up again.
And if the runner keeps crashing them, then they keep coming back anyway.
Yeah. Now I'm confident in there. That looks like a Wage Workers to me. That would... There we have a Wage Workers, which is going to help a lot.
Another expensive 4 trash.
We had a mention of NASX. I remember NASX. No, not quite NASX, but yes, that's your classic 4th pad campaign there.
Indeed. 3 more installs.
Just so you know, we do have. We can pull up any card we want. So when we're thinking about things, although this should be in the background, we can just pull up any card we want. So let's bring up probably the most important cards in this matchup, which is Oppo here, which is just going to be a constant threat. Yes. You know that also the Spin Doctor just wants to put those back, put back federal fundraising.
We're going to see what we're getting back.
Put back the Oppo.
2 face downs, I think.
No, I think they were turned already. I think there's just a federal fundraising left in there.
Okay, so the Oppo did go back then.
Yeah, I think that would make sense. It's just there's so much power in Oppo.
If you can shuffle back an Oppo, you always feel happy doing it.
Although the more I think about it, it's kind of weird because Oppo isn't that good in terms of numbers, right? Because you're paying 7 and they're paying 8. I mean, you're paying 1 click, they're paying 4, which is true. And it does mean you can do, particularly with NEH, you can do install, one of which draws you a card to keep your hand still padded out in case they're going to run your hands. And then you have that finisher. So
I think it costs you a lot, but forcing the runners to spend an entire turn dealing with it or face the consequences, it can win you the game sometimes.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, it's still a lot of tempo.
We've also got Amani Tonight. Yes, this is on Amani Tonight and Crypto Crash in there.
Ooh, weird.
Which, if one of those gets scored, and that's why the Wage Workers is so good, because it gives us that click for that.
There comes the Bladderwort.
I'm not sure what other options are available to this NEH deck for getting 4 advancements down.
It might have a shipment, but that requires you to already float in 2 tags.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's maybe a one-off seamless or something.
I would love a seamless in a deck like this.
Oh my gosh, we're on Daily Business Show and Federal Fundraising.
We're really just saying I control completely what's in my hand and what's on the deck,
and we're just maximising for as many assets with as many credit trash costs as possible on them. And the Wage Workers is just really brilliant in here. It's super flexible.
Yeah.
Particularly what's great is if a Wage Workers is up and the runner's like, okay, I won't go to it yet, and then they run the board and they see another Wage Workers, that's an immediate sign for the runner to just completely give up on any hopes of getting rid of it.
You also can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't just leave it on the table.
But yeah, the flexibility too, if the runner's trashing all your economy, well, you get a Wage Workers down, you click for 3, gaining a click to still be able to install that turn and trigger NEH. You're having a great time there. And then of course the 4 install turn.
Yeah.
Or in this case, 3 install turn and then a big Oppo.
Well, that's
3 cards that the runner just cannot touch, cannot take a look at because they have to be too worried about what other punishment is in front of them.
Unless you've got a wheels like you mentioned earlier, that would give you basically the only way that you can deal with that.
Yeah.
Which we'll see if it's in
there. So Hoshiko. It's very hard to know what this Hoshiko deck is doing here. We've got a Mystic Mayumi. And we've got Hoshiko flips drawing cards. And that's pretty much exactly what you want.
We're going to probably stay flip for most of the game. Hard to flip back against NEH.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I guess we're going to be hoping just to kind of be playing events to give us money. And most of our money coming from events, Fermenter and Miss Bones, hoping there is one in there.
Second buyer bans, once again. Only 3 because we're running the Bladderwort here.
Yeah.
But still nice to get rid of some of that.
Thought about resing it? No? Okay. So taking down the Bladderwort, which stops some of the income. But we do know that there is... And then is that a liberated account?
Well, that'll fix the money.
Yeah, that will certainly help. I feel like liberated accounts isn't seen so often.
No, it's big and difficult to put on the table, but once
Yeah.
you do, 15 credits is a lot of money on one card.
Yeah, but all of these cards, they're always the equivalent of a click for 2 credits. And the thing about liberated accounts that always makes me feel so bad is that you always click for a credit to end up playing. You almost always click for a credit first to end up playing it, and then it kind of defeats the point of it all. But
yeah. Yeah, I'm always a big believer in telework, but of course that's influence here.
but yeah, that's net 8 credits on that card. Takes some clicks to get off, but that's going to help a bunch.
Yeah. Checking a bit more board. There's the DBS. Do we trash it?
Which it's difficult to work out what the corporation is thinking right now. We've got 5 in hand. By this point, we're expecting to see a few agendas have come up. Maybe some. I don't think we've got any face down discards there.
No.
So maybe there's
we could
a hope
have a
that we
face down
overdraw
agenda
at
on the
some
table.
point. That's true as well.
Don't know how comfortable I'd feel doing that against a Hoshiko who's clearly happy to check a lot of the board.
Yeah. And I'm a little surprised that we haven't seen the wage workers come up just to like gain 3 credits and have it resident active for future turns, because then it can be a pad campaign if it really needs to be.
Yeah.
You're gonna do 3 installs as NEH, and then you've got your last one to gain a credit.
Oh, looks like they've just got their nice prizes. Yeah, maybe you're just scared that if you res it, then the runner immediately crashes it, so you want to get an agenda with it.
Yeah, we've got a lot of operations in hand. I think we've got, it looks like a few different options of tag punishment there.
I saw the shipment. Was there something else?
So there we've got on the virus. Probably not going to do much here.
No, I like to have it in this meta. Like,
yeah, it's definitely a safe include.
If you see a
pretty
big
much in
order,
every
it's
deck.
just,
yeah. Almost every runner deck should have a pinhole, and almost every corp deck should have a Mavirus.
Yeah.
It's just the safest way to play.
Yep. There we go. It finally shows up.
Yeah.
We're on
So
no
we've done
money
the
at all.
federal. Now, are we going to? Yeah, there's click for 3. We're triggering the wage workers to give us 1 extra click for an install, which gives us a draw. A draw
Nice.
which is you don't have a choice in that draw.
I think you know what it is because you had the federal. Like,
yes, but as in you also, like, if you're forced to overdraw,
yes,
you have no choice in the matter if you create a new remote.
that is true. Yeah. One downside of NEH.
There is a Marilyn, so obviously hoping that sticks around to get some money. But if you see a Marilyn, you have spent a click running it, but you can just run it next turn. The corp hasn't gained any credits.
Yes.
You've spent an extra click to do it all.
Yes.
But sometimes that's
If
worth
you wait
it.
till it's been res though, it feels quite bad because it just shuffles back.
Yeah, that's true. And the turn that they res it, they get their net 0. So so we took out the wage workers there, which makes sense. That does feel like, as much as we say federal is a trash on site, it does feel like wage workers is the real thing to trash.
Yeah, federal will give them the kind of control, but wage workers is how they're going to win.
Yeah, and federal. Let's just bring up federal a second. I believe federal is the top 3 cards, right?
Yeah, it's top 3.
So with NEH, what we're looking at is
you get a free draw.
Yeah, so you're going to draw 1 for turn. You're going to get a free 1
from the federal.
So if you have 1 agenda, you can keep burying it. Oh no, then it will just be on the top.
You'd have to decline to use your free draw from the federal.
Yes.
If you're NEH, you're drawing all 3 of these cards. You just get to choose which order you draw them.
Yeah.
Although with the DBS, you can choose to put one of them to the bottom.
Yes, and you can do that after. Oh gosh, that's So you filter the top 3 to choose the agenda, which you then federal fundraising. You could draw a federal fundraising or another draw trigger. Use DBS to then choose the agenda and put it on the bottom. Just stall the game.
Basically
out
of the game.
Yeah. And then it just occasionally comes back up again when you shuffle with a spin doctor, and with a Marilyn.
Yes.
But it means that you can ensure that the points aren't, as you do it over a few turns. Yeah.
Trying to work out where to put all the servers.
Yeah, that is the one difficulty here. What's your preference of lining up your servers? Do you like a little snake line or?
I'm a big believer in just keep on going off the table until it kind of starts interfering with the table next to me.
I did think of buying an extra wide playmat just to come along and play Asses, so just outrageously
it's
overlap
a power play.
half the next person's thing. So we're making a run here, we see a pad campaign.
Yeah.
Now we're getting to the point where there's so many economic assets on NEH's side.
It's hard to trash them at this point.
there's so many economic assets. The cost for you to trash them is so much more than it is for them. And on top of that, there's more important things to trash, like the fact that they can perfectly filter the board. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We have just received those cards they were showing off earlier. There are some wonderful class acts we've got here.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, we can go way closer. There we go. That is a alt art, full art, the class acts.
Yes. Very snazzy.
So yeah, it just gets to the point where you just can't beat this deck with money, and
No.
I don't know what the strategy is to try and beat this deck really.
Well, hopefully you find a twinning or a conduit or something, and you can just hammer the top of the deck and steal some agendas before the corp can get them. Because if the corp is drawing all three with their just all of their draw, then it means the Federal isn't protecting the top of R&D, and you can just steal them there.
But yeah, definitely. If your plan is to just like focus on the remotes when you come up against the corp, you're going to really struggle here because it's just you don't need breakers, you don't need cool tech, you just
There's not
need
enough clicks, there's
pure
not enough
economy.
credits.
I guess Imp here would be amazing, and obviously if Nobkru was still unbanned, Imp Nobkru would be absolutely incredible tech into this. Or just being Lu would help a lot.
Being Lu is always nice.
If you're playing, I guess Criminal just takes a Miss Bones and hopes that 10 money is enough to take down a couple of pad campaigns and a Marilyn.
Yeah. If you're playing Shaper, would you ever DJ Lu?
It's an option. I guess I wonder if DJing just for Steve to get the money back is better.
Yeah.
Depends on what your event distribution and stuff is like, but you're definitely going to be having your Parisha down.
Sadly not an option here, even if you want to, but like...
Yeah. There's also, right now, like, we've got a piece of ice on R&D. It could be a ping for 2 credits, but we're not expecting any, like, surprise money appears, so it could just be you can just run through there.
Yeah, for 2 credits, you can just say, the worst that is a tag, and I can just pay to clear the tag.
And you get them down to 0 credits then, which means they're not going to be raising anything on the next turn.
Yep.
But there we go. Now back up to 4 credits, so that changes that plan again, unless it is a Meston Chesvo, in which case
I think
not going to do much there.
At 4 you can res a Serevna, and that's a nasty one to hit if you've got no way to break any of its subs.
Yeah. Now is this a solid?
This is a price.
Yes.
Very nice. So trash 4, we saw... losing a gamble here is rough. Oh no, this is labour rights.
Oh, I see. Okay, yes. I was like playing the price and then looking through the entire discard pile and rearranging it. That's very suspicious.
Yeah,
and could be a game loss.
No.
So there we go. Yes, labour rights is down.
A card even stronger than the price.
Putting back buyer bans. Is buyer bans just simply the best cards in this deck right now?
No,
it's possible.
It's definitely a commitment that just we're running the remote.
Because you're gaining 2 credits, you're getting a run, and you're clearing a tag, which is kind of 2 credits and a click. So it's like a clickless checker server and trash up a 4-cost asset for free.
Yeah,
and
hopefully
also
you're paying for it with Mimi.
Yeah, so it definitely seems like an option here.
Yeah.
And right now, we do have credits in the pool. I was going to say maybe we're at the point where we just have credits on Mamie. That's all we do. And we just draw a card every turn with no cost.
Yeah, certainly difficult to kind of keep the econ for events down with the Mamie.
Yeah. Welcome to everyone who's watching and joining the stream. We have 9 people watching right now, which is pretty great. That's more than we had for early games of London. I hope you're all enjoying it.
Welcome to Reading, if not in person, then at least
digitally in Reading, Reading or Reading, whichever one. What are people looking forward to today? And where is everyone joining from? Have we got people in the UK watching from home, or have we got some American people tuning in to check out what's happening over in the UK in our very warped and twisted meta sometimes?
We've not got 4 Mercuries.
Okay.
This time.
Okay.
I don't think.
Yeah, that's definitely. If any of our games early, we'll do a little analysis of the breakdown of IDs. I'm always fascinated to see how those break down.
Scotland was horrifying.
Yeah, that was a lot of PE going on there. Oh, the arrival of more prizes has just happened.
Very nice.
We now have Charlotte Cassador appearing.
Yeah.
Because now we can play 6 Charlotte Cassador in a single deck, right?
Yeah, one for every old one.
Yeah. Excellent.
It's why everyone has like 500 seamless launches. I assume that's how CD does it.
Okay, so runner's turn. Getting
tread lightly.
Yeah.
And we're playing it.
That is a very very unique card to see appear in this deck.
It's been showing up.
Very good though.
Yeah, like every time I see it played, I'm like, actually, this is kind of sick.
There is an immense amount of panic that comes on the corporation's face when they see this rock up.
Yeah.
3 extra credits is an extortionate amount to charge them.
Yeah. In this case, it's only 3, but sometimes it can be as much as 6 or even 9. If you're running a big remote, it can be massive, and even just for 3.
And I feel like against where we're seeing a lot of Asmari, an incredible tech card. If you see that they've got the thing they need in a remote you've probably untouched for most of the game so far. Forcing them to play 3, 6, 9 extra credits is certainly going to make sure they can't score anything, even if you don't get through. Oh, and now even more prizes. Just prizes galore. Here we have a Mercury.
Very nice.
An ID that I really want to. I want to see Mercury happen.
Work.
Somewhere, someone will crack it at some point.
Yes.
And here, Mercury's having a great time.
Looks like we paid 5 for a ping.
Wow.
I guess if we need to protect that remote, then it's worth it. But
and I mean,
it's a lot of money.
But we've got 0 credits now as the corporation. We've got no drip income on the table. So playing this Banhar last click is.
Real threat.
Yeah, unless the corporation can find an extra piece of ice.
It's a Rashida.
Okay, we'll forget all of what we were saying. It's a Rashida. Things are fine.
Can we res anything else for 0?
Possibly a federal fundraiser. Well, I assume we're just going to take the rewards first, because there's no point rearranging the top 3 if you're just going to federal fundraising them. And finally, Hoshiko has flipped back, which is going to be 2 credits next turn, which will help out.
Very nice.
So here comes Rashida for 3 cards and 3 credits.
Yep.
Then on top of that, we're going to have Federal Fundraising Fire to look at the top 3 and arrange them as we like. That's, I believe, a Bladderwall, a Tithe, and
a agenda of some kind, I think.
Is that a Better Citizen program?
Might be. That's rude.
Yeah.
It'll certainly make the Bioband feel worse.
Yeah.
Although Bioband is the one card where it's alright, because you can clear the tag.
So a hand full of cards, and taking an extra one, and when we install something, we are going to have to draw.
I think we're going to have to discard on this one.
Yeah, but I think this is a good time for that Spin Doctor to potentially fire.
Absolutely.
And with the runner didn't access anything, which means they definitely didn't trash anything last turn, so the Oppo in hand is not going to be doing anything this turn.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it to get your Rashida, but sometimes forcing the runner to take an Oppo can be just as worth it.
Yeah. Now, Oppo, a lot of the times, the NEH that I play is a kill NEH, where you're just trying to get the Oppo down, false lead them, and then you've got your end of the lines to solve the problem.
Yeah.
In that one, often I feel like giving away a 3-point agenda just to give me the power of the big Oppo. In this one, definitely think that's not going to be a strategy. You're just going to want to be burying.
Yeah, you can't be feeding agendas if you're not on kill.
Yeah. And the Oppo is just there just to
slow you down.
And to let the runner know, you want to think about when you're trashing things.
Yes.
And make sure you don't. So now we've got 2 pieces of ice. And the outermost is a Tithe, which is excellent because it's going to have 2 net damage subroutines rather than gain a credit doing net damage. Yeah,
we've got a remote that we can't get into for now because there we go, nice Tithe. We have a turtle in hand, so if we really need to, and a crew actually, we can get into that remote if we have to.
Definitely.
But do we want to? It's a lot of resources to get in, and there's also 9 other remotes.
Yes, of which how many of these have been unchecked at this point? It's difficult to say. I imagine we're not seeing agendas naked on the table. The corporation's still struggling with money.
Yeah.
There is, we're seeing good pressure from Hoshiko to ensure that the corporation has to think about what they're resing. Because if the corporation can get, 3 resed economic assets, a DBS and a federal fundraising, and a wage workers on the table, then that's the point where there's not really a way out for you now.
There's just so much tempo for the corp.
All you need to do then is try and find your illegally played copy of Apocalypse and hope that somehow will solve your problem. But
hope you're not on stream. Looks like the spinner's gone. I think we shuffled back in some face-ups.
Okay.
Don't think I saw what they were.
In hand, it doesn't look like we've got any agendas in hand, so maybe we do have one on the table, and like we've got to the point where the runner can't afford to check everything. They're checking this remote.
Yep.
Although maybe the agenda is just in that remote, and we're thinking, hey, we know that we think that they can't get in here now. They've got to find a breaker, install it, and make a run. And in fact, we're
another Bladderwort.
Changing turns. Bladderwort comes down, and again, we're staying very poor, so that's going to work well for us.
Yep. Just keep hitting at the runner and kind of giving yourself a bit more drip and hitting their important cards out of hand, hopefully. Speaking of.
There goes Crew, yeah. Now, when I was playing against this deck that Ben has, the fascinating thing about Bladderwort is there was basically never a turn where Bladderwort didn't fire.
Yeah,
because
I've noticed that.
This deck can just... It can... Is there like a really difficult line where you have to work out specifically when to res economic assets and not to make sure you can keep in that range? Because the threat of Bladderwort just eating away your hand is incredibly painful.
Yeah, I don't know. You've got so many assets you can res though. Like, if you just keep resing assets, then like you can keep spending the money almost as fast as you're making it. Don't think there's a regolith in this one.
Yeah, I don't think there is regolith in this list. I think because we just don't want to, because we're playing Bladderwort, we just want to keep our credits low.
Yeah.
We know that if we have 2 Bladderworts and a pad campaign and a single credit left over from the last round, once those 2 Bladderworts are fired off, we then have enough credits to be able to score out a 2-4 with wage workers.
Yeah.
So.
Ooh.
Okay, so
looks like we're dealing with Bladderwort again.
Yep. Does make sense here as it's a face-up asset, so we know what we're going for. Not playing good cards. Regolith is a very good card, but Bladderwort is certainly a more annoying card to have running around on the table, especially with so many assets around. Now, how many Laborites, and are we expecting an Ashen? We have seen an Ashen
Compilation.
Compilation will definitely help with... I mean, effectively, it's what you pay a credit to access a card and host it on it.
I mean, if you're spending 2 credits, 1 credit to install, 1 to trash a card, sort of.
Yeah.
That's the same 2 credits you'd pay for an imp.
And if we get to enough turns where the Corp has only been using federal fundraising and no DBS, that means that we know that some agendas are going to come up.
And we can sweep HQ and hopefully just win the game.
Yeah.
Losing Eye for an Eye.
Now, Eye for an Eye is a card that I haven't played much of, so let me remind myself what that one does. Eye for an Eye.
It's an interesting one.
Play only if you're not tagged. Run HQ. If successful, take a tag, access additional card. So with Cupulation, that can be a...
You can see 4.
Yeah. That's pretty huge. And it lets you trash a card from your hand to trash a card.
Which, if you've got a Steel Skin, a Strike Fund, you can easily get.
So we do have a seamless launch in there.
Very nice.
And we're immediately... So this is on the runner's turn. They've got 1 click left, so they obviously ran the Spin Doctor.
Yeah.
Looks like 2 Bladderworts are about to be shuffled back
We're
in.
thinking.
Yeah, it's just... A deck with 8 Bladderworts is a nasty deck indeed.
Very much.
So those will be going back in.
Yeah.
And then when it comes over to the corporation's turn, they'll be able to filter draw again, but now they've got potentially some new agendas bubbling up. Thank you very much, Axu, for pointing out. Yeah, I've been redoing the stream layout.
It's a very snazzy one.
Yeah. In future, there might be some more fancy technical things. Like I thought about putting on some... Oh, hey Dan, welcome along. It does really feel... There is a real grinder element, and it's amazing how with just 3 Bladderworts in the deck, you can grind away a runner.
Yeah, it's just enough that it really feels like it hurts.
Yeah. Now we've got 7 cards in hand. We're just working out, of all these cards, we've got 3 credits. Which are the things that we want to res? Oh no, sorry, wait, this is still the... still the runner's turn because they have 1 click left.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's not. We're now on Federal Fundraising.
Yeah. Oh, that's Crypto Crash, I think.
And is that a... Oh, is that a re-education?
Might be.
I mean, it's
Feels unlikely.
It's a tempo hit of a card, but...
I've
Is that
never
really
seen
better
anyone
than
play...
Degree Mill? I'm surprised. I'm very surprised
I feel
by
like that can't be right. We're thinking of Resing Wage Workers.
Okay. So we don't...
Clicking for 3.
And overinstalling... Oh, so I believe it was a virus in there.
Ah, snazzy. And the Crypto Crash goes in.
Yeah.
Discarding something.
I'm sorry, the deep dive is coming.
Yeah, that's true if you're... yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Sam would have been 2 credits so far. I think we've seen a mess in Chessbow, so you could get 5, but it's not feeling like it's a good included agenda.
But, you know, ping can also cost 5 to res, so...
that is true, that was...
could be the tech card here.
Stealing that.
That seems like a very good target to steal, especially as one to make sure that they can't run it, shuffle it back in. Wage Workers, how many influences Wage Workers? Is it 2 or is it 3?
I believe it's 2. Just 2 influence for each of those.
So certainly on 2 of them, possibly on 3 of them.
Yeah. Feels like...
And with NEH's 2 extra influence, it really goes a long way.
I always forget NEH is 17.
It's like, just to make a good ID
it just
even
wasn't
better.
Good enough. We're working out if we can get in. Looks like we can.
So, running into Tive, paying to... Yep. Okay, cool. Just paying to get through.
Stealing that Crypto Crash.
Flipping as well, which will gain 2 credits at the end of the turn.
Yeah, certainly better than leaving it there and losing 7.
Yeah. Now it looks like maybe we're not using these click trackers, is what's going on.
That makes sense.
And maybe at one point we were using them and now we're not.
It happens.
Oh, no, we are. Okay, cool.
At the corp, you've got to feel fairly gutted here. That Crypto Crash could have done quite a lot to deal with the runner's econ
and also possibly I think we overwrited the Mavirus, which is going to be really annoying here because that's going to it helps a lot to stop them running at server. Although they can always run early.
Yeah.
You pop the Mavirus, they just run somewhere else and then run back.
Yeah.
The turtle really can hurt this deck.
Yeah, it's such a good breaker. Like once you've got it on the table against assets, you can't keep it perched for long.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very interested to see what's going to become of Turtle 2.0 in that Amakua is such a fascinating card for the fact that as soon as you put it on the table, so many corporations now completely reevaluate their strategy to how can I lock them out.
Yes.
And I think that a card that can change the shape of the game so drastically like that is huge.
Yeah, it would certainly be. It's going to be big if it's just gone. Like,
I'm trying to think of what other cards are like that.
I suppose you've got Audrey, which is in many ways similar.
Yeah.
But it's much easier to kind of keep an Audrey down because it requires a trash as well.
I guess there's also Banha. Like when Banha comes down,
you
suddenly have to go, cool, how am I double icing these things I want to protect now? And I think that it's really interesting to have these cards that offer such a need to change your strategy to adapt to it. And not just play the cards in front of you in the way that you know best.
Yes. It's always good to have a card that just makes you reevaluate what you're doing, think about.
So we've got 5 minutes left on the round, and it's in the runner's favour, and I think it's looking like the runner might come away with a win here because they've got running HQ here with raindrops.
We're not. We didn't pop the cup. We just saw one. We're saying we don't think there's agendas here, which
But with 2 points on your side,
Yeah.
The corporation is going to have to score something from the table. We do see a tomorrow's headline, which is something we can just quite sneakily store.
We've got a Hollow Man, we can score that from hand.
Oh, yes.
Although we need to make a bit more money. You need 6 to res plus 1 to advance, so 7 credits to do that.
Yeah. And the runner has stayed very well on credits here. We've got 8 credits in the pool.
There's been an exponent showing in kind of credit management on the runner side.
Yeah. And possibly fortunately or possibly by great decision has a lot of these cards I feel like we've not seen the other side of.
Yes.
A lot of them are just simply untouched.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating because also the corporation hasn't decided to res them. So potentially it could just be a bunch of agendas.
Yeah.
That somehow we got flooded and had to install.
Oh, that's a
re-education off the top.
Certainly a shock surprise here.
Yep.
I mean, you've got to be scared when you see it.
Yes, definitely.
Like, suddenly you've got to count is there room for a neurospike.
Re-education just so commonly seen in Asmari and only Asmari now.
Yeah. Seeing it elsewhere, bit of a shock.
And so, definitely in the runner's favour now, with 5 minutes left on the round.
We're running back, we're seeing a Bladderwalk, we're leaving it.
Triple Reaper on the board. I don't think so, but that would be very impressive. I don't think it's that the re-education was put on top. I think that it's more likely that... I don't know, maybe it was, yeah.
If you feel like with
the
cup on the table, it might... Although...
Yeah, you might be worried that they are just going to run HQ, and if you've already got tomorrow's headline in there, putting the re-education in there as well is potentially saying the win is in hand.
And
it's very difficult with NEH and Federal Fundraising to use it to protect the top of the deck properly.
Yes.
So we have tomorrow's headline here, which should give a tag. There we go.
Yep.
And then it's over to the runner. Going to raindrops again. This time, are we going HQ or are we going R&D? We've got the trap inch marking as the Banhar token here mark HQ. It looks like we're going to try and push for the win here.
Yep.
We used the copulation.
We're stealing a wage workers.
And let's see what happens. That's a seamless launch.
1 Hollow Man.
Are we going to trash that?
I think you have to.
And then it's a Message Espo.
Ooh, complete miss.
So we haven't got the win now.
There might not be an agenda in hand anymore.
I believe that would be correct.
Checking archives.
Turtle is up to 4, which means now it can get through Message Hespo.
Yep.
Is it worth? Okay, we're just doing a run here. It's an Amani Sinai. A decision was made to not res that when we were scoring the...
Yeah, that's interesting. Might just be that we're feeling too poor to just res that.
Yeah.
The runner's
maybe we need the threat of being able to res
things. We can't really boost into the trace at all to do any damage.
Although with Banhar on the table, it feels like to res anything, it just never feels great.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to get a second piece of ice down on a lot of these things.
Yeah.
I mean, this deck has probably got 5-6 pieces of ice in the entire deck.
Looks like there's a degree mill in there, which,
Yeah.
I don't think you're excited to see.
Doesn't really have text on it anymore.
Yeah. It's difficult to score, and at this point, it's easy to steal.
Yeah. So there goes down a Wage Workers.
Yeah.
There's the degree mill. We've got a Bladderwort as well.
Putting it in the server.
The Oppo is just going to be very expensive to do.
Yeah. I think we're thinking of that.
Time on the round has been called, which means it's going to be game over here for Bucket Hat Ben.
Yeah.
The runner done an excellent job here, particularly finding the 2 biobands early and then making the decision to shuffle them back has given a lot of extra value, especially with an early Mayami.
Yes. That Mayami came out like turn 1 or turn 2.
Yeah.
It's just been a credit turn.
And yeah, I'm very impressed. A very good job of managing all the assets in front of you.
Yeah.
to keep the court poor enough, and if you keep them poor enough, they can't come back from it. So there we have it. It's the last turn for the runner.
Yep, we've got enough turtle counters to break basically anything.
Yeah.
We're going to hit HQ.
Raising a tithe, paying 2 to break. Accessing 1 card. It could be the degree mill. If only there's a snare or something in here. But
and
there we go.
Crash,
Yeah, there's the win.
That's game.
Excellent game. I'm mostly very impressed because I played that deck on Tuesday this week against that NEH deck, and I had such an awful time. I was like, this is
certainly an excellent
so many credits you need to be able to break through all of this.
Yeah, like knowing what's worth crashing, because we've left that federal, and like I never leave a federal, but like apparently you just can.
Yeah.
If you're confident,
I guess with NEH, know that the federal isn't really doing that much.
Yeah.
Because really, the only text that's useful on it is it could draw you an extra card if you really want one.
You've got
whereas
better choice
DBS is Daily Business Show is definitely way more annoying. Well, there we have it. That's round 1. Gone to time and then won on In Time by Vinegar Mink here.
Yeah.
Giving them 3 points and Ben with 0 at the moment, and then we'll be going to the next round.